Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever. Have a great day. Well, hello, everybody. I am Sarah Sach, and it's time for coffee and crochet with Sarah. We have a fun video planned for today. I have 3 new patterns with videos I'm going to show you. I also have a new yarn that I stumbled across that is super soft. I'm going to show you that. And then we're also going to do a crochet together. And what we're going to do is, let me grab one of these. We are going to crochet a simple oak leaf. And these are so pretty. You can put them together in an arrangement. I actually whipped some of these up to put on my fall wreath that goes on my front door. So today is the first day of fall. It is September 22nd. So happy fall, y'all. You know, I grew up in Oklahoma, so we have to say y'all. I still catch myself saying it all the time, even though I've lived all over the world because my husband is retired Air Force. So we've lived all over the world, and I still have every now and then my Oklahoma, drawl comes out. Not too bad though, hopefully. I think the thing that happens is down in Oklahoma and down in the South, everybody talks really fast. And so I think that's part of what I do. I just start talking and I talk really fast. And when I get excited, I do that too. And I've been working on it, not talking too fast. All right, so I see a whole bunch of you clicking in. It's so good to see all your names. And look at all of you popping in. Are you ready to do a crochet together? Well, before we do our crochet together, we have to clink in. And I've got my fall leaf mug. Isn't that beautiful? I bought this, I think, last year, maybe the year before at the Dollar Tree. And someone said, don't put it in the dishwasher. It's been washed about 100 times, people. I love this cup. So, clink in. I'm drinking good old Folgers this week. I actually purchased, I told you about this a couple weeks ago, some Dutch chocolate coffee. Some Dutch chocolate coffee. It was a little bit strong, and so I did sort of a 50-50, and then I ended up doing about 2 scoops of the Folgers and then a scoop of the Dutch chocolate, and it's perfect. I love it. Alrighty, so if everybody's clinked in, let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and do the crochet together first, and then I'll tell you about the new patterns and a new yarn that I stumbled across. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click over to that top cam, and I wanted to go ahead and get started on this because it's going to take a little longer than just a regular video. Hopefully our video won't be a lot longer, but it does take a little bit longer when we do a crochet together. Okay, so these are simple little oak leaves. They measure, let me look at my notes here. I don't even have that written down. So I'll grab my tape measure. And you can see with the stem, it's about 5.5 inches long and maybe 2 to 2.5 at the widest part, about 2.5 inches. So they're very small and they're used, you can put these on anything, placemats, decorations. Like I said, I put them on my leaf. Also, you can put them on a scarf, a hat. You can put them together. I like putting 3 together like this. I think this is super fun, like this, and have them put on a placemat like that. All right, so what you need is your H hook, which is your 5mm. You need some sort of a medium weight number 4 yarn. Now these 3 I did in some leftover cotton. This is a medium weight, I believe this is Vanna's Choice acrylic. All right. Just a little bit. It takes very little. You need a needle to weave in your ends and a pair of scissors. All right, I'm going to throw this in my little tin there that I use to hold my ball of yarn. And we'll go ahead and get started. So we're going to have a slip knot. And also, while I get started, When I'm doing it live like this, I probably go a little bit fast. And so what you can do is, if I go a little bit too fast for you, when you, after we finish this video, it takes about an hour, hour and a half for everything to be ready, and of course for YouTube to upload. This video will be on YouTube, and then you can slow it down. You can slow it down, you can pause it however you need over on YouTube, okay? So just a little hint, because I do like to go a little bit faster when we're doing it live, all right? So I've done a slip knot to begin with, and now we're going to chain 15 chains. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, oops, 14, 15. Now, you don't want to stitch these 15 chains tightly because we're going to be stitching on both sides of our chain. All right, we're going to stitch a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Never count the one on your hook. There's 1, 2. So we'll go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. All right, so now we're going to stitch one single crochet in each of these chains moving across. We began in the second chain from the hook, and we chained 15, so we're going to have 14 single crochets. Alrighty, almost to the end of my chain there. One more and then one more. Alright, so I've stitched one single crochet starting in the second chain from the hook in each chain, so I have 14. And now we're going to do what's called stitching down the opposite or other side of the chain. I'm going to move my tail over and I'm going to turn my work this way. And we're going to stitch one single crochet in each of those chains working this way. And make sure that you get 14. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there's 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And let's take a look at this real quick so you can see how that looks. It makes a nice leaf because it gives you the illusion of that stem, even though there isn't one down the back, but it gives you the illusion that there's not a stem, but the middle of the leaf. All right, so we have 14 and 14, 14 on each side. All right, now we're going to make those little bumps that form our leaf bumps. We're going to go in that first single crochet with a slip stitch and go ahead and chain 1. And that just gets us over where we need to be. All right, now this portion I'm going to take a little slower because we're going to be doing different stitches in order to make those little bumps. All right, so one single crochet in the first 2 single crochets. So we go right in that first one. 1, 2. Now we're going to double crochet in the next single crochet. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, yarn over, and go through the second 2 loops. There's our double crochet. Now we're going to place 2 triples in the next stitch. So we need to wrap twice. We go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2, yarn over, and go through the third 2. And we're going to stitch another triple right in that same stitch. All right, so we have two triples in the same stitch. Now we're going to double crochet in the next. Now we'll single crochet in the next 2. 1, 2. And let's take a look at it so we can see 2 singles, a double, 2 triples, a double, and 2 singles. That's that first little bump on our leaf. Now we're going to repeat what we did. We've already done our 2 single crochets, so we're going to double crochet in the next, 2 triples in the next, double crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 single in the next 2. 1 and 2. So now we have 2 bumps on the side of our leaf. Now we're going to work around the top. We're going to place 2 single crochets and the next 2 single crochets. So 1, 2, and then 1 and 2. All right, now we're going to place, I did that incorrectly. Let's take those out. There we go. We weren't supposed to put those 2 single crochets in those next 2 stitches. We're going to place 2 single crochets in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, as this gets us around the edge of our end of our leaf. So after your second bump, instead of 1 single crochet in the next 2, we stitch 2 single crochets in the next 2. All right, so now we're going to place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So double crochet. Now we're going to place 2 triples in the next 2 stitches. So we need 2 wraps. There we go. 1, 2, and then we'll stitch 2 triples in the next stitch. 1 and 2. So we have 2 triples and 2 triples, and now we're going to double crochet in the next stitch, and then we'll stitch 2 singles in the next 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, let's look at this real quick. Now, it will sort of curl up there. You can stretch it out, or if you want it to lay flat, block it. But the point of this is for it to sort of curl so that it looks like a dried oak leaf. All right. Now we're going to repeat what we did over here. We're going to stitch a double crochet in the next stitch, 2 triples in the next, double crochet in the next, and then 2 singles, 1 in each of the next 2. 1 and 2, and then we'll repeat that. Double crochet in the next stitch, 2 triples in the next, double crochet in the next, and then 1 single crochet in those last 2. 1 and 2. All right, let me pull that a little bit so you can see the leaf. And it is curling a little. Like I said, you can block it if you want it to lay flat, or you can leave it curly so it looks a little bit like a dried leaf. All right, let's add the stem to the bottom. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet in this next stitch here. Almost did a slip there. We're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to slip stitch in the second chain there, and then slip stitch back up to our leaf. Then we'll single crochet in that same stitch, and then join to that first single crochet on that side and cut our yarn. All right, we'll go in that next stitch and pull that loop to the back, get on there. There we go. And now we can use our needle and weave these two ends in. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's how you make that oak leaf. Just remember, after that second bump, we go into 2 single crochets and then go around, and we have 2 single crochets here before we finish those 2 bumps. All right, that's how we make that leaf, and it's a super fun leaf to make. Like I said, I put them on my my fall leaf because it's fall. And all 4 of these are going to go on my wreath as well. But there's lots of things that you can do with those. You could use these as place markers and embroider somebody's name across the middle if you're having a get together. You know, you can embroider these on a hat, on a scarf, on anything that you would want. And you can also take these if you make like the big chunky pumpkins that I have made, and you can add these because they do sort of look like a pumpkin leaf. Not exactly, but hey, do them in green and they'll look like a pumpkin leaf. Maybe add a little curl. Anyways, I wanted to do that with you this morning. I thought it would be lots of fun, and I really do love doing these live crochet togethers. Also, last year this time of year we did a little acorn. So if you want to add a little acorn, you can go in my playlist on YouTube and you can just put in crochet acorn, and my live video where we did the acorn together last year will come up. And you can add that little acorn to what you got going on. You just got to look for it in my playlist. And I did want to discuss that just a little bit because I've had a lot of questions lately about, well, where do I find your videos and and they're asking this question on another video. And so when you're on YouTube, it's super simple. Just go there at the top. There's like a search, and you can put in my name, Sara Sach, and it'll show you my videos. Or if you're looking for a specific thing, you can put Sara Sach acorn and the video will come up. All right. YouTube has so many wonderful things on it that will help you. I had a discussion with one of the ladies the other day about sound. And one thing to remember, if the video on YouTube is too loud or too quiet, you can adjust it on YouTube, but also check the device that you're using. Check the iPad or the phone or the tablet or the computer that you're using, because sometimes you just need to turn the volume up or down on the device that you're using. Another thing that you can do, like I was talking about at the beginning of our crochet together, is you can slow down the videos. You can fast forward and you can pause. And somebody posted something about your video doesn't start until 20 minutes in. Well, sometimes if somebody watched it but they didn't watch all of it, it just stops. And so when the next person goes in, it starts where that person ended. And all you have to do, there's a line underneath, right at the bottom of the video, and you just push that line back over to start, and it will start at the beginning. Okay, so there's lots of things that you can use on YouTube to make the experience a little bit better for you. Because YouTube is a great place. It can be a scary place because there is a lot of trolls and people that just want to post silly things that are inappropriate or whatever. You know, there's that. But there's also, it's a great place to learn crochet. And like I said, this particular time, every Tuesday for about 30 minutes is a time for us to get away from everything in the world, in our families, things going on, and just be amongst people who care about each other and love yarn and crochet. Okay? And that's what this is all about. All right, now, if you're just tuning in or you tuned in late, this video will always be on Facebook, and give me an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how quickly YouTube's loading. And it'll be on YouTube as well. All right, all of that. Let's talk about what's new this week at Posh Pooch Designs. Well, first of all, I want to talk to you about this lovely, lovely shawl that's behind me. This is called the Healing Shawl or Healing Wrap Shawl. And I wrote this pattern about 3.5 years ago when I was first diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And I made this as something just to wrap around myself and to think and to get away. And also when I was in the hospital, I wrapped it around myself as well. And it reminded me that people were praying for me and caring for me. And so we decided to update the pattern. And during the video, I misspoke and I said the beginning, the pattern starts with 52 chains, but it's actually 50. And so one of my testers went in and updated it, we updated the written pattern. We put in a lot more pictures. And so anyway, when you click over on that, you'll see at the bottom there's a correction is all, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's made with shawl in a ball, and that's by Lion Brand. It's a lighter weight 3, and a lot of people ask me, how come it's a 3 or I'm sorry, it's a medium number weight. It's a medium weight number 4. And a lot of people ask me, how come they put it at a 4? It's more like a 3. And when you look at it, it has like a string and then it has fuzz. And when they measure that, they go by the fuzz as well. And so and that's why I call it a lighter weight 4. It's not exactly a 3 and it's not a 4. I call it a 3.5. So anyway, it's a beautiful yarn. It's easy. It's shell stitches. And then at the end, excuse my cough, I'm dry this morning. But anyway, at the end of the when we're going to do the scalloped edges, it's really, really simple. And once you get the hang of this, it's really a quick pattern to make. Now, if you don't have shawl in the ball, or shawl, nowadays it's called shawl in a cake because they do them in a cake now instead of a ball. And that's better because this yarn, you cannot frog it. If you make a mistake, you have got to undo those stitches super slow. Okay? But anywho, as I say, you can use a 3 or a 4. If you use a 4 weight, you're going to get a little bit bigger shawl. Just add a few more stitches, make it wider. Or if you like it that thin, I think it measures 19 inches wide, and it's real long, like 60 inches long, because I wanted to wrap it completely all the way around me. Okay, and it's not heavy, it's a lightweight shawl, and it's just really, really pretty. Okay, so the other thing we did this week was this little guy. And you can make this as a washcloth or a hot pad and use cotton. Or you can make it as a little stuffy. Isn't that cute? You can do it without the eyes in the face or with the eyes in the face. And I like to leave the 2 little loops. And the reason I do that is because it makes it appear that it has a little bit of hair. Isn't that cute? Anyway, I just love this, and it's super fun, super easy. Excuse me again. And it's a super fun thing that you can make. A lot of kids, like maybe diabetic or ADHD or have other issues, and even adults, that shouldn't be eating a lot of candy. And you know, our dentist here, if you go trick-or-treating and get a bunch of candy, you can turn it into them, and then they donate it other places so that your kids aren't eating a bunch of candy. But I loved my candy when I was a kid. I was the weirdo that even liked candy corn. And I discovered something with candy corn that I absolutely love. And if you take your run-of-the-mill cheapy little candy corns and you mix it with, you take a third a cup of candy corn, you take a third a cup of honey roasted peanuts, and I like the Planters brand because they're super good and super salty. And then you can either take dark chocolate chips or you can take M&Ms. I don't care for the M&Ms with the peanuts in them for this mix, although I love them normally. But just regular M&Ms, mix the 3 of those together. My mother-in-law used to add raisins. I'm like, don't do that. Raisins do not belong in this, okay? Raisins are good on their own, all right? I'm that person that doesn't eat raisins, okay? Anyway, it's a fun mix to have. And anyway, you can make these and give them to your grandkids or your kids as a surprise if they're not going to get a lot of candy. It's a lot of fun. They're soft and squishy. They can throw them around the house. They can jump up and down on them. They're just fun. Anyway, this one's going to get tossed around a bunch. And I had this really cool idea that you could make about 5 or 6. Set up a laundry basket out on your lawn or something, and just take turns tossing them into the basket for a fun outside game in the yard with the kiddos, okay? Okay, yeah, Dawn says, no raisins. There's nothing more disappointing than biting into a cookie that you think is going to be chocolate chips, and it's raisins. But you know what? I don't like oatmeal either, so that might be part of it because a lot of people put raisins in their oatmeal. All right, the other thing we did yesterday was our washcloth of the month, and I just loved this one. I have to tell you, I had something else planned that was a excuse me again, goodness gracious. I had something else planned for the washcloth, and I did not like the way that it was coming out. And I'm like, this isn't even pretty. What are you thinking in your brain? And then I remembered how much I loved this pattern. And so I thought, I'm going to do this pattern and make a wonderful washcloth, and I just love it. They're almost too pretty to use as a washcloth, I'll be honest with you. Okay, so this is the washcloth in pastel. This is our kitties or kittens in a row washcloth. Is that not adorable? Now, I did it in Halloween colors because I wanted it to be Halloweeny because it's a black cat on there. Isn't that cute? And see how those kittens just pop right out? I'm going to put this on this other camera. I want you to see it up close. All right, here it is. Kittens in a row, especially this yellow one. Here's the little kitten ears. And then this is the little kitten paws. And someone else said that looks more like the cattail to me, but it would be too many cattails because we only have 6 kittens and 7 of those. So if you wanted to do it as a cattail, you certainly could. And I found this black. It's not as solid. It's kind of a variegated, and I thought it was a cute contrast. And I stayed with, you know, bright yellow. This is called curry, and orange, black, and purple. And this would be super fun if you're having some guests over. And you could, especially someone who loves kittens, this would be a great fun pattern. Now, you can do this pattern in a blanket, in a pillow. You can do whatever you want with this pattern. It's super easy once you get it down, because basically it's, you know, 3 rows. I got my kittens upside down. It's 3 rows of one color that forms the kitten. And then when you start the next row, you do the paws down. And when you do these, this is your, it's a long double crochet cluster. And it's actually a long 2 double crochet cluster. That's a long name to do these long portions. And when you do that, it helps to form the ears on the cat and the paws on the next cat. And it's just so cute. The pattern is just kittens in a row. And if you click on this on the blog, I have the multiples in there. If you're on YouTube, you'll have to click the link underneath. And that's another thing about YouTube. Underneath every video, I have notes. And it either says see more or there's a little arrow, depending on if you're on a phone or a tablet or your computer. There's always a drop down under every single video. There's usually a little red or black arrow, or it'll say see more, and you click that, and then down will come all the links or any notes that we've added to the videos, corrections, and things like that. All right, so that is our washcloth of the month. And just to talk about that, for the year of 2020, we're doing a year-long crochet along. Washcloth of the month. Each month on the second, third, or fourth, I can't remember. I've got a schedule all on the blog. If you go to the blog, the first thing up there at the top says Washcloth of the Month. You can click that tab, and it'll give you all the videos and all the links for that. Also, on Facebook, if you go to the photos, there is a photo album that says Washcloth of the Month 2020, and there's pictures of all the washcloths that we've done so far, and links. And a link, not links, and a link to the blog as well. I try to do that with the photos. That way you can find what you're looking for. If you can ever not find one of my videos, the easiest way on Facebook is just to go to the Posh Pooch Designs page and look down in the photos. A lot of people don't really use their photos. I use them so that you can find them, okay? And then I do post on Instagram, but also on YouTube, you'll find, if you just go to my YouTube page and there's a thing that says playlists, and I have all of my stuff in categories, and you can find it there as well. All right, so The last thing we're going to talk about is this new interesting yarn that I found. It's a Yarnspirations Karen. It's called Swirl Cakes. This one is in like teals and blue, sort of blue green. And this is 77% acrylic and 23% wool. So it's going to be soft like acrylic, but it's going to have a little bit of warmth to it because of the wool. And it's super duper soft. There's 8 ounces on a cake. It's a chunky or a bulky number 5. And they recommend you use an 8mm crochet hook if you're going to crochet. But I found it to be really interesting. It has an interesting, almost fuzzy feel to it. I have not used it yet. I have a plan for something I'm going to do with it, and then I'll let you know what I think about it. Most of the colors were very muted, like this, how it's kind of a muted. They're not, I didn't see any, they have like a lavender, beiges, browns, I think kind of a rose, purpley pink color, and a couple others. But I didn't see any that were bright in your face colors. They were all these muted colors. This one, what did I say the name of the color was? Oh, it's called Iced Cream. And maybe that's why they're making them all in those colors. And there's one on the side there. You can see it's like pink and gray. It's just really, really muted colors. And so I was actually, the story is this. I picked up my granddaughter and I told her we had a few errands to run. We were running some errands. I had to go to Bed Bath & Beyond to get a shower curtain. And right next door is Michael's. Well, I have to go to Michael's, right? And she's looking at me. She's like, "Are we going to Michael's to look at yarn?" She knows me. She knows me so well. I'm like, "Yeah, just for a second." So I took her in. I was showing her those great big Karen cakes, the anniversary cakes. And I have one in blue. I don't even know where I put it. Oh, it's right back there. You can't see it. It's right behind me, like where I'm sitting. But anyway, I thought, well, I only got the one. I used my coupon. I can use my coupon again because it's the next week, because you get one each week. And so I went in and we went back and I was showing her those great big cakes. And she's like, "That is so huge. It's bigger than my head." That was so funny. Okay, so then I was looking, I'm like, oh, they don't have the color I need. Because the one I need is, I think it's called Blueberry Blush, I think is what it's called, but I can't remember. It's blue something. Because I wanted it in blues and teals, because that's, I don't know why, that's my thing right now. But anyway, so we go in, we're looking, they don't have my color. And so, and then I looked over and they had a whole end rack of these. And I'm like, that is an interesting looking yarn. I mean, isn't that weird looking? And not weird, that's not the term. Interesting, because it's not weird. It's just really interesting, and you can see that string, how fuzzy that is. Here, I'll bring it down here so you can see it even closer. You got to see it up close. It's just really interesting. Let me move that out of the way there. See? Isn't that interesting? It's very soft, but it has like this fuzziness to it. And maybe that is the wool that's in it. And so, anywho, I will make something with it. I'll play around with it and see what we can do. And then I'll let you know what I think about it, okay? I just wanted to tell you about it. So when next time, I've only seen this at Michael's, although I have heard that Joann's has it, and also Joann's carries all the Yarnspiration Karen cakes, as well as a lot of other things. A lot of times when I cannot find something, I've been to Hobby Lobby, I've been to Michael's. My Walmart has absolutely nothing good. They do have like your basic colors, but I mean, as far as specialty stuff, they just don't get it in, which I think is odd. But anyway, that's my opinion, and we know it's just my opinion. But anyway, anytime there's a yarn that I'm specifically looking for and I cannot find, I can usually find it at Joann Fabrics. Okay, so I feel sorry for those of you that don't have a Joann's, because it's an amazing store, not just for yarn, but lots of other crafts as well. All right, so the new yarn reminds me of a pinwheel. You're right, Kimberly. It does kind of look like a pinwheel, because well, it is a spiral. It's called Lovely Layers Spiral Cakes. It's a pinwheel. It does. All right, so I'm going to let you go. And don't forget to make some wonderful leaves. And you can search for that video for the acorn from last year. And make some fun fall. And remember, y'all, today is the first day of fall. So, happy fall, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. I know, I'm just being silly.